Every time they get so close to greatness, they do some dumb shit that makes me think the QA team is just some niggas placing bets on a game of dice. You think they finna remove skill-based matchmaking, but that nigga rolled Snake Eyes, so they've altered the R99. Who thought it would be a good idea to nerf shields across the board, then immediately add another new energy weapon, and bring back the turbocharger, and the fucking devotion? Hopping into season 6 of Apex is like getting crazy Splash Mountain, Flute Dome, glurp and blurp action from a bag. Then you find out she has a Twitter account with her pronouns in the bio. You aren't mad, just disappointed, you know? It's a conflicting feeling. You keep coming back to her because of how deeply satisfying she is. What other girl you know gives you a goosh smooch swirly rim job and stimulates the prostate using 2 fingers in a clawing motion? Like maybe 1 or 2. But you can't stand what she's become with the influence of the internet. For every good thing they've added, there's an equally bad thing that completely defeats or counteracts the good thing added. Nerfing the global health pool to make gunfights shorter and third parties more manageable is an already controversial decision on its own. But what makes it an objectively bad one is when you decide to throw the devotion back into the loot pool and to add insult to energy. Yeah, you remove one meta slave by vaulting your R99 to supply drops only to throw the meta slave weapon back into the floor loot and the fucking turbocharger. The second most toxic hop-up in the game. How can I outplay or outmaneuver my opponent when he can piss shit and fart with a devotion and get squad wipes? And it's a swift kick to the nuts when you realize they willingly sabotage their in-game loot pool economy just to make their new character look more viable than she actually is. Do I like the new character? Yes, I absolutely love her kit. She actually has presence on the battlefield. Her tactical is actually effective, her ulti feels like an ult, and her passive is insane. This bitch handles LMGs like she's Spectre +5 strength on the bigger chest. But new characters don't matter if the gun meta is poo. And with 4 energy weapons dominating the loot pool, 6 total in the loot pool if you count the triple take and the charge rifle, it's hard to enjoy any of the more refreshing elements of this season. Somehow, people were trying to justify this. Niggas on Twitter were trying to say that these changes raise the skill gap, that somehow marginalizing engagements with retard accessible weapons makes the outcomes more likely to be determined by skill. Let's say me and you were having a standoff. We each have a revolver with only 5 shots in it, and it requires all 5 shots to kill the other person. Assuming you know how a fucking revolver works in 2020, we can assume the individual who wins that engagement can typically be considered to be of a higher skill than the other. Yes? Yes? Now let's say instead of 2 revolvers we had a 60 round magazine light machine gun that fired at 1000 RPM with the kick of a paraplegic, and it still only took 6 out of those 60 shots to kill someone. We could assume that the skill requirements to win those engagements would be objectively lower. Yes? Tell that to the niggas on Twitter and Reddit, man. Stop the cap, stop the bullshit, stop the lying, man. Stop trying to make this shit seem like it's so sophisticated and well done. It's not. Shit is dumb. As for the devs, I don't understand how they feel this was justified. The Havoc rifle is the easiest it's ever been to use and control. Like, do niggas think because the recoil slightly curves to the right like a BBC, this shit is hard to use? Hello? Don't get me wrong though, there was some splendid changes made this season. The questline is no longer some drab dialogue, but an entire comic. The POIs in World's Edge are fun so far, although rotations are still kinda sus. Rampart puts a lot of life into the game, and reading the patch notes only to see character buffs across the board, satisfying, besides the obvious. So much pain! It's hilarious because in my last Apex video, I warned against exactly what's happening right now in Apex. Even though I already said this, I'll say it again because I was late with that video and this one has way more potential to blow up. So let me just find those voice clips real quick. Hold on. Yeah, there we go. Respawn is so focused on encouraging other characters to be played by nerfing the strongest when they should really just aim to bring up the weakest. When you look at Apex's ecosystem, or any game in general, honestly, people don't stray from the meta. When the meta is a certain select bunch of weapons and characters, those weapons and characters constantly remain in rotation. Very rarely do you have players who, despite any significant downgrades to the weapons or characters they enjoy using, do they remain consistent in using them. This is because, believe it or not, people enjoy winning. And because people enjoy winning, it is inevitable that in most circumstances, no matter how desperately you try to promote variety or fairness, people will always find an upper hand. Not only that, but also the concept of balance is pretty subjective. It's like perfection, right? There's no universal agreement on what balance is, neither is there a universal agreement on what perfection is. Not only that, but a balanced game does not automatically make it a fun one. Yes, I said that. Yes, me, in my other Apex video that I highly recommend watching. Please. And I still stand by it. Game balance and player behavior is like a hydra. You cut one head off and 3 more sprout. You can remove every weapon from the game except Wingman and the P2020 and niggas will make it a Gibraltar hammer point meta. You cannot predict, nor can you contest the absolute lows people are willing to sink into for advantages in a game. So trying to balance your game according to the lowest common denominator, the average shitter, will break the game on all levels. It's like communism, except instead of starving, we all have 1.0 KDs. Now you would probably wonder, so how would you balance Apex, CJ? Break the fucking game! Make every legend strong, make every weapon strong. I don't mean hand out turbochargers like candy and make every legend have a one-shot ability, but stop balancing games according to the consensus of people who will never be good at the fucking game. If anything, you should be doing the opposite, balancing your game according to the individuals who've played the longest and succeeded the most in its ever-changing economy. But that's for my skill-based matchmaking video. My thing is, change the philosophies behind why you balance the game and the game will follow. Take the great things about Apex and make them greater. Chisel away at all the things people can't stand, like skill-based matchmaking. Just fucking get rid of it. It's really not that hard. Just get rid of it. And I promise you, it won't matter if the game is unbalanced. If people are having fun, they won't fucking care. So, in conclusion, put the Havoc rifle in supply drops. Bring back the R99. Remove turbocharger from the loot pool. Completely get rid of skill-based matchmaking. Buff Pathfinder's grapple to 25 seconds. Rework Wraith. Stop fucking nerfing her. It's not gonna fucking fix anything. Make ranked mean more than some badges. No one gives a fuck about it because a pred badge won't stop you from getting dumped by a Devo. Put exclusive legendary skins, heirlooms, and finishers in rank to give more incentive to play. And make the next tier 100 battle pass the Prowler or the R99. And make the next 2 legend heirlooms Bangalore and Watson. Okay, thank you. Goodbye.